Can you just introduce yourself?
This is Sue.
My name is Sue Bird.
Infertility is one of the biggest reasons why women around the world can't get pregnant, but with assisted reproductive technology, or ART, they finally can. ART includes technologies like surrogacy, donor conception, and the most popular, in vitro fertilization, which is why Sue is here today.
I'm 30 years old, and the reason I'm here today is because I've been single for a long time now. The clock is really ticking, and long story short, I just want a kid of my own.
And what's your goal? What are you looking forward to the most about this?
I would say that I'm looking forward the most to, in the end, have a kid, but also see the journey that it takes through this extraordinary process.
And are there any concerns before starting the procedure?
I would say whether there are any health risks that either I, the donor, or the kid could go through, or if there's a result that the kid could end up suffering from.
As you heard, Sue isn't exactly infertile. So why is she doing in vitro fertilization? The process of IVF can be done to start a family where either the female or the male is infertile, or to start a family where the female does not have a male partner, like in Sue's case. So how does this process happen? Before IVF can occur, women will take fertility medication that will cause more than one egg to grow and mature in the ovaries. This can be provided by either pill form or taking a multitude of shots. Next, a man will provide a semen sample so that the healthiest sperm can be collected for fertilization. A donor can be arranged if male partner is completely infertile, which is also called sterile, or the woman doesn't have a male partner. Starting the process, Sue will go through three main procedures. Follicle aspiration, where the eggs will be harvested from the ovaries. Fertilization, where the collected eggs will be immediately taken to a lab where they can become fertilized. And then the last one, embryo transfer, where the embryo that has been sitting for 3 to 5 days as it grows will be transferred into the woman's uterus. Now, Sue has the joy of having a child, but findings from the UK Millennium Cohort Study researching asthma in children born after infertility treatment, they found children conceived by ART or assisted reproductive technology might be exposed to greater health risks than naturally conceived children, one being asthma.
But why is it that Sue's child, along with other IVF offspring, are being diagnosed with asthma? The explanation is tricky. According to the University of Oxford, 24% of IVF children were diagnosed with asthma or reported asthmatic symptoms by the age of 5. This is, children who are conceived via assisted reproduction technologies are likely to experience wheezing, coughing, and other asthmatic symptoms. In general, IVF offspring are 2 to 4 times more likely to be diagnosed. Possible explanations as to why asthma can be common in IVF is due to the severity of the infertility in treatment or over-reporting of asthmatic symptoms. But asthma is not the only issue with in vitro fertilization. This method of becoming pregnant is also linked to an extensive number of twin and even triplet births. IVIfertility.com explains that the reason being is because in the process, multiple eggs are fertilized and then transferred into the woman's uterus, increasing the chance of twins. A pro to this is that couples willing to have several kids could potentially have more than one on their first attempt. On the other hand, IVF can lead to lower than average birth weight, premature birth, and other complications. Dr. Amos on BabyMed.com explains that because twin or triplet ratios were quite high from IVF, this caused doctors to cut back on the total number of eggs that were transferred back into the female. Knowing the complications that may add on to the process of in vitro fertilization, some couples hope to have twins. They may want more than one kid, and the entire IVF process can be very expensive. Fertilizing multiple eggs at once is not the only factor that can cause twins to be born. A single embryo transfer can also result in the birth of twins. Why? This is due to zygotic splitting, which occurs between 2 to 6 days after fertilization. The zygote splits itself into 2 new embryos, and they both end up fully developing into the womb.
But why do we even care? Between asthma, twins, and cases where babies are wheezing, we might care because in the future, when we have our own children and our own children have their children, we're not sure yet if these diseases and consequences of IVF can be passed down. Assisted reproductive technology and IVF can become popular in one area and spread throughout the community. But in the end, we must remember the IVF and ART consequences. We can have twins more often, we can damage the DNA, and we can have epigenetic diseases for our offspring. So in the future, when you have kids, what will you think for your offspring?